Good evening, good afternoon, possibly still. Welcome to FPL Focus. It's Friday, it's deadline day, and we've got about an hour and a half until the deadline, the game week is over and all transfers must be made. Let me just close the window because I've got a slightly orange face, almost as orange as these salmon pink lapels on my beautiful Everton top. Hold on. You'd think letting a little bit more light in would make it look a little bit better, and it feels nicer to sit in here like that, to be honest. But there we go. There we go. Right, how's your game week been? What are your problems? What do you need sorting out? What can we ask members of the community? What can we do some research about to help you get your team ready for this game week? Those of you who have been able to see, last night I made my transfers. I've been saving until a Friday recently, but price rises basically dictated my hand late last night. And in the end, I didn't get to sleep till 2 o'clock this morning, and then woken up at 6 o'clock by my beautiful children. So I spent half the day in bed sleeping when I was going to do some streams, but here I am now. I've got until 6 o'clock. It's Friday night. It's choir practice for my good lady wife, and I need to be in there for that. So, a couple of comments. A Big Nose Monkey, hello, mate. Hello to you, sir. How are you? Have you had a good week, buddy? And James, good evening. Good evening, James. Welcome to the stream. How are we doing? Right. So, let me go and show you where I'm up to then. I'm just going to send this out on Twitter. So, there's a stream. There we go. That was set up. I meant to click it beforehand. Change to my team. And then we can bring it up so it looks semi-professional. You know the way I like to do things on the channel. There is my team looking at this week then. So Chilwell has arrived up against the mighty Everton. Good evening, Sai Snake. How are you doing? He came in for Hugo Bueno. Not confident of his start this week, so I've looked to strengthen my sort of fringe options, if you like, because I sold Salah for Madison and got some funds from there. I was able to do the upgrade to Chilwell. The other transfer I've made, I have taken a hit for the first time since the World Cup, -4 for me, and I have brought Isak in for his fixture against Nottingham Forest and for the double next week as well. Didn't have enough funds for a Watkins or a Tony, or even possibly a Havertz, whose underlying stats have been pretty good in the last 2 game weeks. If you've gone there, I don't think that's the worst punt in the world either. But wasn't doubling up against my mighty Ev, to be honest, either. I'm one of the ones that have decided to keep Haaland, as you can see. As regular viewers will know, I've struggled to get Shaw back into my team. And I've even used the transfer that was meant for Shaw next week on Chilwell this week, just trying to chase a bit of upside. Moving forward, I've kept hold of Rashford, Fernandes, Matoma and Haaland that are blank in. I see those as really important players for my bench for next week, and I'll go and show you, that now, shall I? What that looks like. Because this is a sort of, it's a little bit of a plan between now and sort of game week 32 where I plan to free hit and then a wild card anytime from game week 33 onwards, possibly game week 34 when the doubles hit for the likes of Brighton, Manchester City as well. So, or more than likely to hit, shall we say, not confirmed as of yet. So let me just load my draft here. This is FPL team. If you like this and you've not used it before, guess where the link is? Yes, you've guessed it. It's there. So this is how I'm looking for this week, as we've just seen. -0.1, that's because I did my transfers last night, price changes, but I've done those before. If we go and have a look at the following week, I've made my transfer in terms of on this draft here. I've taken out Gabriel for sure at last. Not that he's somebody I'm desperate to get rid of. He's done really well, but he's got a single game week, albeit Leeds at home, as opposed to Shaw's double game week against Newcastle away and then Brentford at home. So that is currently the planned transfer for next week. And then, as you can see, according to this, I'll be happy if I get this. Predicted points next week of 126. That is with the bench boost. I brought Steele in last week, which was an absolute steal at 3.9, and he was solid in goal and delivered me a lovely, what was it, points-wise, a lovely 11 points at the back there. Solid at defence last week for me. Couldn't have been happier with White, Gabriel, Trippier and Steele. Between them, 36 points between 4 of them at the back there last game week. So very happy with that indeed. Came with his big returns, but as you can see, Bueno and Greenwood are the ones I've got rid of. I've been able to upgrade Greenwood to Isaac this week. He was 4.1. I think he was possibly going to go down last night. Yeah, so he lost 0.1 million. So I needed to sort of do that transfer because the Bueno drop. He dropped to 3.8. He might have been 3.8 anyway. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. But then, yeah, my price, probably the price rise. Did it happen for Maddison? I've not actually checked. 8.2. So yeah, that he went up yesterday, and Chilwell was on 5.8. So he rose. So I wouldn't have been able to afford these transfers right here, right now. James, let's have a look. You've done a -12. Wow, man, you've gone for it. Works sometimes. We've highlighted that recently. A couple of our teams of the week have had -8s, -12s, and it has paid off for them. I'm assuming if you've got players not playing anyway, you're hoping you pick like starters. Who have you gone? You've gone Edison to Kepa. Okay, well, Edison wasn't playing anyway. Haaland to Watkins. Okie dokie. Ferguson to Kane. I like that transfer. And then Salah to Maddison. So you're basically taking out all load of players that aren't playing this week, and a load of players that are. So I don't see any problem with that whatsoever, mate. I think you've got some great players in there. Kane, Watkins, Maddison and Kepa. My only concern, as I've already voiced on this, is getting Haaland back in. But thank you for sharing that, James. Much appreciated. Another Haaland abandoner. What is his ownership at now then? Let's have a look. It was plus 80%. 74.6%. So quite a lot of people have left him, but more have kept up there. So if that influences his decision, then so be it. And I do get the fact that he's only got one fixture, and you can bring a Watkins in, and well, I've still got an hour. It's probably got a 2% chance of happening with me. But I haven't checked the press conferences stuff out yet. Even if one of these is injured going into next game week, then it could well happen. We'll have a look at that in a moment. But as it stands, I'm pretty set. Luca de Gabriel, thank you for joining me, sir. Do join the league, guys. By the way, if you haven't joined already, code is in the description below. We'll have a look and see how that's been, because I've not had a chance to do a league update analysis. We'll look at that in a moment, see how many Centurions we got. We've got quite a few. And David, new to our league, stormed it last week with a best score of the week, 135 points last week. So we'll have a look at that during the stream as well. What have you done then, Luca? You've brought in Watkins for one free transfer for Haaland, but you can't fit the whole start 11 since Matoma blanks. Yep. Rashford, SB and March also blank. Who should I remove for a -4? Matoma or Estupi? March would be the one I'd remove out of all of those three, to be honest with you. Personal choice out of them. But if it was a straight toss-up between Matoma or Stupi, my opinion only, I think Matoma's just been absolute gold dust all the way through. And for me, holding on to Matoma would be a priority over holding on to Estupi. If I was the owner of those two players, do make your own choice, sir. Do let us know what you do. If anybody wants to add to that in the description, then please do in the comments, see what they think. But for me, it's a Matoma all the way. Pedro, are you up late, up early? Can't quite remember, sir. Hey, Paul, how you doing, sir? Thank you very much for joining me. Are you all ready for this week, mate? Luca, the problem is game week 29 with Brighton, double game week next week. Yes, it is, but we are playing this game week. Who's their double up against? Let me have a reminder. I was saying last night I'm a bit wary of the triple up. So they're away, so they're not playing this week, but then they're at home to Brentford. And then they're away to Bournemouth. I mean, Bournemouth away is a good fixture, isn't it? And home to Brentford. They're not bad fixtures, to be fair, are they? But they have, in the next 4 fixtures, 3 of them are away. From 30 onwards, I suppose you need to try and make sure, possibly get rid of 1 or 2 by this point here, because they've got Man City there. This 2 more games for the double, possibly, but after that, I don't think you want to be having anybody other than Mitoma, to be honest with you. So should I just field 10 this game week? Well, I'm fielding 10 this week, mate. I'm fielding 10. Basically, the way I look at it, and this is just my view, anybody else wants to comment on the 10, 8, 9, 10 player scenario, then do. If you don't want that play, if you don't think you've got a quick upside over this week and next game week, and then you're worried about being stuck with them or bringing a player back in, whether you're going to be able to do that, then don't do it, would be what I say. That's my sort of take on it. I mean, there's the aggressive side. If you're really behind, you really need to catch up, then maybe it's worth going for it. It's worth that sort of calculated risk. But I've had some steady green arrows recently. In terms of, if you see, since the World Cup, sorry for keep mentioning this, but I did terrible before it. Look at my game week history. Since the World Cup, it's been happy days. Started here. In fact, the one before the World Cup was good, but I went in at 4.7 million and now up to 1.4 million going into this game week. And hopefully these next 2 weeks with my wild card still intact, my free hit still intact, I can really attack those final game of weeks. Free hit, I'm thinking 32 when there's going to be quite a few blanks. Liverpool play Forest as well, so we can jump on those. And then basically using my wild card game week 34 when all the next set of doubles kick off, 34, 37, to really attack that sort of run in those last 5 game weeks and get as high up these ranks as possible and maybe get a semi-decent rank to talk about at the beginning of next season's videos to viewers. As you can see, so hard trying to get a rank at the early part of the season, tried so hard and tried too hard, chasing points and ruined everything. I had a really, really poor start to the season first half, but happy days, looking much better now in terms of how that sort of like looks to me. If you look at the league, the second chance league, I would be, if the league had started after World Cup, I'd be at 210k rank now, which is far better. So it's personal to every team. For me, I'm happy to hold Haaland. I think Liverpool, City are usually quite high scoring fixtures. He hasn't done too well against them so far, so he will be desperate, I'm sure, to get a good score against Liverpool. And on the back of a 5-goal outing midweek in the Champions League, I think he'll be raring to go. My personal thoughts. Captain Saka or Kane? For me, I think out of those two, I think it's got to be Kane. I've got the option to go with Odegaard as well. Crystal Palace, he's my vice, but they are close. Crystal Palace did look better in their last fixture, getting some shots on target at least anyway. But Southampton away, I think that's just too good to mess up. Saka did get a bit of a rest last night, but will that hit the team hard? Is this Crystal Palace's first victory in a long time in their relegation battle? Is this where Arsenal mess it up? Well, let's be honest. Excuse me. They messed it up last night, didn't they? Arteta resting everybody. So for me, Kane is the highest predicted points for this game week as well. So yeah, we'll have a look at that in a shortly. FPL Penguin, evening to you, sir. How are you, Calvin? You keeping well, mate? Surprised you're not on your own stream at this moment in time. Maryak, Raman, Captain Kane or Tony, or maybe more differential Watkins. I think you've got those in the right order of sort of popular choice, if you like. I've seen a few polls where Kane's sort of like getting 50% of the votes. Tony, Watkins, not quite so many, but Tony's got a good fixture up against Leicester. He's had a really good high XG in the last sort of, I think 5 game weeks, are around about 4, but he's only managed to get the 1 goal, so he could be due another big haul. I know he got some points in the last game week. against whoever it was against now. And yeah, with that goal and that last minute sort of assist, but he did pick up the yellow card, so I'd just be wary anybody who's thinking about bringing him in this week, possibly not to do so. Right, let's go and have a look. What have we said we're going to look at? Everything. Let's have a look at me tweet. What did I put on here? I think first off, let's go and have a look and see at, because we've not seen it for a few days, let's go and have a look at the league and see who did well last week, whose team did well last week. And while we're on here, we'll have a look at the, because I used the press conference summary from Premier Fantasy Tools as an update as well. I'm assuming it's up there already. And we'll have a look at the elite team as well, the top 20 career managers, who their teams were last week. Remember, last week 95% of them used their wild card, so they went early in, ready for this blank game week. So a good analysis of the players they had in their team last week, ready for this game week. League ID, my leagues, Who Really Lovesit League, up to 100 these days, which is nice. By the way, I'm on 348 subscribers. 2 more for the 350. Can you help me get there? That'd be nice. Do that before the end of the stream. Pedro, I like your Isaac pick. It's gutsy, but it could pay off big, especially if Newcastle get a double in 31. Thanks, Pedro. It was a bit of a... I think I would have preferred to go for Watkins, if I'm totally honest. But it was a budgetary thing. He was the person that I could afford. And yeah, that was happy days for me. Happy days. I wanted Maddison, I wanted Chilwell, and that was what was left. We tried a couple of other things on the stream last night. We see if we could fit Son in, for example. But yeah, no, I think he had a good game last week. Wilson's been a bit ill. I don't expect him to get 90 minutes per game, but over the 3 game weeks, for my bench boost next week, he'll be first sub, if you like, on the bench boost. And he's got a game this week up against Forest away, so I'm expecting hopefully a good hour at least anyway in that game for him, and maybe a cheeky differential. He was at 1.9% yesterday. So manager of the week, David McCrandles. He did send me, I've got a quote off him as well. Let me get that up here, because he was messaging me and it was quite an amusing one, so I thought I would share it with you because it's a good one. Quote from David as he accepts his award for Team of the Week. And by the way, I'd love it if anyone else did this. He'd like to thank his cat, Lafoof, French for the pussy, and the missus for pretending to care and just randomly saying Saka. So quote of the week goes to Team of the Week, David McCrandles, and we shall have a look at that in a moment. Just joined the league last week, hence why he's got the biggest fall. He joined at 39. Best transfers of the week, 27 net points to Paul Jones. Well done, mate. We'll click on your name and have a look at that as well. But as you can see, last week, most captain Tony, most owned still Rashford, most transferred in McAllister, and most transferred out. Those of us abandoning, I abandoned him. I stuck him on my bench. First sub, Tarkowski for an 8-pointer. Who knew playing Tarkowski ahead of Salah would have got me my century last week? Not I, sir. Who's do we say? So we'll have a quick look at David McCrandle's team, his team of the week. Here we go, David. Yeah, but Watkins is so boring in my opinion. Only went with him because I want to save you free hit for 34 and Watkins plays in 32. Fair enough. If I wanted to use my free hit in 32, I'd have gone with Havertz. Yeah, I just couldn't afford either, to be honest. And I quite like the thought of Isaac. I do want to take, I don't want to take too many risks at this stage of the season because things have been going all right. I just want to see the team. I want to see the whole thing here. Team analyzer. Sorry. I need to click where it says points to get the team up here. So he had 135 for the week. So obviously a 12-point hit in there as well. Yeah, as we can see. Actually overtook me that week with the amount of points he got. But he's got De Gea in goal with 8 points. Gabriel with his 14. Shaw kept hold of Shaw with 5. I wonder if you've kept hold of him this week. Estupinian with a 9-pointer there. Alexander Arnold 2. Matoma captain 24 points. Saka with 3. He's due a return, I think, Saka, and he did have a rest. I don't think he is the worst captain option this week at all. Odegaard finally got a return after a couple of blank game weeks, but he too got a rest this week, so I'm very hopeful there. It's just whether the rest of the team are knackered. To be honest, I'm double Arsenal defence, and I'm actually not expecting a clean sheet. I think Crystal Palace are due a goal. Defenders dropping left, right and centre for Arsenal last night. Tomiyasu off injured, Saliba off injured. Saw Zinchenko holding the back of his thigh like 115 minutes last night. So I'm sort of expecting Tierney to start this game week. Who else is playing here? Rashford on 3 points, Kane on the 13, and then Haaland on 6. Played his bench boost. Raya with 9 points, Tony on 13, me on 9, and McAllister on 10. So a lovely game week there for you, David. Thank you very much for joining the league, sir. And good luck to you this week. Aritravo Audi, good evening, sir. How are we? How are we? Hello, mate. Watching the stream and having my dinner in a minute. Team locked in, 9 players. Okay, so that answers. Some people asking before whether it's okay to play with 10. I was saying I think it was. Aritravo Audi, as we've just seen. Okay, if you noticed, just on this little bit up here has the best all-time rank in our league, and he's happy to go with 9 players this week. And he's actually rolling a free transfer. Wow. So basically I'm planning to tap the double game week. Rather than bringing in 1 player for this game week, I'm assuming you're going to bring in somebody next week that plays 2 games. You're going for Tony captain. Very close captain to Chilwell, but Tony it is. Interesting, mate. I think he's got I was reading the All About FPL article before, and he's sort of like topped their picks in terms of a number of their different metrics combined together as well. And maybe he's. I mean, I look at it 2 ways. Always play devil's advocate. He's either on cloud 9. I think it's his birthday. He's had a good game last week. He's had his England call up, and he goes out against. I can't even remember who now. Bloody hell! Who's he playing? Who's he playing? Brentford. I haven't got any Brentford players to see quickly. Leicester, is it? Oh God, I can't think. Gotta look. Brentford. Leicester, yes. Who have a very leaky defence. I think there is that option. The other thing is he going to not want to get injured? That's my sort of take. But it might be my take just because I'm not signing him in a way to convince myself. We do this. We do try to fit our choices into a narrative. It's a natural thing to do, to back up our decisions and then later on go, oh no, shouldn't have thought that. But I think that is a possibility. He takes it a little bit easy, so he doesn't get injured, so he gets his England game that he's been so desperate for. Remember, he didn't make the World Cup. So and that was all due to this. Did it just come out just before the World Cup, all of this betting stuff? Or was it just after? I can't quite remember now. But I think there was something that happened that affected his chances. I think it must have been that for the World Cup. What else has been going on in the league then? So I said we'd have a look and see. Paul Jones is 27 net points. Who did he bring in? Where is he? Mr. Jones and me. So it doesn't go with the tune in the background. There he is, Mr. Jones. Got 100 game week points out of it as well. Can we see his transfers? Was it take it? No, I want to go on that one. I want to go the actual. Summarise them here. Game week transfers. Yes, so in McAllister, Tony and Matoma, and now Andreas, Johnson and Mahrez. Mate, fantastic transfer business for you last week. Fingers crossed I have a similar one this week. Fingers crossed. That's brilliant stuff, mate. And gave you your century as well, so a massive well done to you. 104 minus 4, so after your minus 4 as well. Well done, Paul. Great week, mate. Other Centurions on the week. Let's have a look. I don't want to miss those out because there's quite a few. And it's a massive achievement getting over the 100. Raniel in second. Nihal stays top, but Raniel has caught up. Mark Williams with 103. The pressure's on up here. Nihal to hold on to this, mate. James, 88 points. Son of a Mitrovic, 105. Pedro, well done, mate. 106 points. Great week for you there. Certainly in the top 10 with the highest game week score there, buddy. Evan with 105 points. Climbing a place in this league as well. My good friend Al, who was in 3rd last week, dropping down to 8th in this league. So it's very close. Abdullah. And then Toby into 10th. Aritravo just dropped out of the top 10 this week into 11th position. But all still to play for. But a nice little lead there. Still got a 19-point lead at the top of the league this week, Nihal. Who else is? Alexander. Remember when you were worried about your team on the Monday night stream? Big Nose. Monkey Man. 100 points in the end, mate. That's it. Never wait. We always got to wait until the game week's over before we judge it. Easy to jump to decisions. It was always a double game week, wasn't it? So well done to you, sir. Roy Boy, 106. Robert Simpkins, 100. John Arbuckle, 103. Nathan Allen, 106. Mr. TL, 105. Brilliant game weeks for loads of people. I'm feeling like I thought I did well with 92. Josh, 105. Tom Stone, 105. Jake Martin, 105. The Centurions in our league, smashing it this week. Matty Laff at 106. Mark De Cavallo, FPL Popper. This website creator, 103. Paul Jones, we've just seen him, 100 points. League Manager of the Week, David McCrandles with 123. Using his bench boost. Taking a -12 to get there as well. So somebody else, I just remember earlier on, has taken a -12 this week. Let's hope it pays off for you just as well. FIFA 22, 104. Sam McKenna, 102. Any more down here? No. Well done. Some great stuff there, guys. Right, here we go. Here's an interesting one. Let's have a look and see chip usage. So last week, wildcards, bench boost. Not too many wildcards last week. Bench boosts. As we can see, not many. If we look in this column here, wildcard 2, not many have got their wildcard left. I'm pleased to be in that group. More further down, interestingly, than further up. So, have we missed the prime opportunity? I think 34 is a great opportunity. Most use their triple captain as well now, but still quite a few with the free hit to go. So I'm seeing either that's going to be this game week, in which case I think that there will be a lot that just use it this game week. To be honest, I think more than half of the league, I would imagine, will use it this week. What do you guys think? Personally, I'm saving it for game week 32. Player analysis, ownership going into last week. Highest owned: Rashford, Trippier, Haaland, Saka, Tony, Matoma, Kane, Raya, Estupinian, Kepa, all above 50%. I see in our league, half of the people, basically almost half, captain in Tony, and Buemo also getting a Tiki captaincy there. Matoma, just under 20%, sort of 15, 20 to 20% going with Matoma there. Martin McAllister sort of a bit spread out. Still 4 people on Haaland last week. Couldn't bear to bring themselves away. Unlucky to anybody who went Salah. 0 is still 0, isn't it? Unlucky. This is the mini league template then, based on ownership from managers in our league. Right at the top, Raya. So he's overtaken now, obviously with the doubles in mind last week. Kepa, then Ward, and then De Gea. Defence, it's Trippier, Estupinian, Gabriel, Henry, Shaw, Botman, and then Zinchenko. Midfield, everybody holding on to Rashford. Saka, the second most owned. I'm a bit worried not to own him, I've got to be honest. Mitoma, March, Odegaard, Martinelli, and then Salah. I fully expect, though, that to be a much less ownership on Salah this week as people cash in with his tough fixtures, 2 away fixtures, City and Chelsea, in the next game week as well. And then up top, it was Haaland, Tony, Kane, and Watkins, and then Mbuemo. These are the differentials with less than an overall 10% ownership. Still, Kepa, only less than 10% overall. Over half of our league have got him. March, Henry, Botman, and McAllister. So A lot of people, all these players delivering. I think last week, not so sure about Botman. No, I don't think Botman did, to be honest with you. So that's nice to know that we're making some good choices. Newcastle do have some good fixtures coming up this weekend. And then in the next couple of game weeks next week as well. Moving forward, those are the transfers in and out. So we're all over the place, very different. But most transfers in, as you can see, people going in on Brighton and Brentford last week, not surprisingly. Abandoning Mahrez, anybody who still had him. Odegaard and Ketia, people taking them out. Tarkowski, interestingly, Tarkowski 8-pointer, Odegaard 7-pointer. And that's the mini league season summary. What have I got? 527. Pedro, yeah, it was a great score, but it's acceptable after using my wild card in 26. Expectable, okay, yeah, and it was a disaster of a game week the week before that one. This week I'm fielding 11 after 2 free transferred, Haaland to Watkins and Estupi to Chilwell. Well, I hope that pays off for you, sir. I really do. You know, it's this, isn't it? That's all it's about now, I know it. Yeah, so we can sit together and drink out of our I Love FPL cups together. Right, let's go and have a look at the press conference summary and see if there's a last minute panic. If there's been anything since the press conference summary, then do let me know. Game week 28. This is a free website, by the way. You do get adverts if you haven't not subscribed. It's like about £1-ish a month. I should find out exactly what it is. Might play Tomiyasu Saliba. I doubt it, to be honest with you. Tommy looks pretty serious. This was straight after the game last night, so these are Mikel Arteta's comments there. Looks pretty serious, his reaction straight away and what he said to me, and it's very early, difficult to know. With William Saliba, he doesn't know, he had some discomfort and could not carry on, so they had to take him off. Now, he wouldn't have wanted to come off, I'm sure, so I'm not expecting either of them to play this weekend. I'm really not, and like I say, I have doubts over Zinchenko as well. You're going to sell Salah out tonight for Maddison, maybe? Okay, mate, well, you've got 1 hour to do so. Just in case you're watching and you just think I'm doing a bit of a Friday stream, the deadline is on its way. Yeah, I went for Maddison, mate. If you're only doing the one, I do like Son as a cheeky punt this game week, I've got to be honest. But you make your own mind up. Bournemouth, Tavernier. If it's a long term, maybe for next game with it being a double, maybe you do if it's not on a free hit, are you? Bournemouth ruled out Tavernier. Okay, let's move on. As long as Solanke's playing, I think he's on a couple of people's radars. Uatara as well. I just wasn't ready to go there myself. Ruled out Janelt, Keane Lewis Potter, Ayer, might play Royzeleff. Chelsea ruled out Raheem Sterling, Mason Mount, Thiago Silva, Cesar Azpilicueta. So if James is sort of 90% fit, fully expect him to be playing this game week. Might play Reece James, Aubameyang. He's not playing, is he? Let's be honest. Mendy, Kepa. It's time to stop worrying, but I think he's done enough to keep the shirt, to be honest with you. And he plays with his feet, which is what Potter wants. Palace. Who's going with Palace, are they, this week? Everton, Andros Townsend ruled out. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, hamstring still ruled out. We're still monitoring the situation, Sean Dyche says, about Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Being careful, he's being careful with his body. We're trying to give him every opportunity. He wasn't overly in my thinking for the Chelsea game, regardless of anything else, because obviously the international window comes and you can use that even more wisely. So I think he's playing the long term and hopefully getting him back to a full fitness and have that running. So I'm expecting, or I'm hoping, should I say, as an Evertonian, but also semi-expecting Dominic Calvert-Lewin to be unleashed after the international break, when they basically beefed him up a little bit and sorted out some of those injuries, hopefully, and got him a bit extra strength to some of those muscles and stop breaking down all the time. They've looked at his lifestyle and everything, which is quite interesting. Ruled out for Leicester City, Wout Vase, Tielemans, Justin, and Braybook. Somebody asked me on the stream last night who was on penalties for Leicester, Maddison or Tielemans. So you'd expect it to be Maddison, with him being ruled out still. Might play Bertrand Evans and Christensen. Nice to see no comments about James Maddison in there, who has been being nursed through. Let's have a look. Joe Linton's ruled out. Anthony Gordon, after his lovely way he holds Evertonians in high regard. Yeah, he's a rat, isn't he? He's a proper little rat, Anthony Gordon. I haven't got any time for him. He did well for us last season, but you know what? He's his own biggest fan, isn't he? Emil Kraft might play Shah, Foot. So if you've got Shah in defence, he might play. Big risks to take out this week, though, I'd say, with the double next week. And Callum Wilson, illnesses, and might play. Nothing major from Eddie Howe. Not interested in Anthony Gordon's comments. Ruled out. Interestingly, I was thinking at this point in time that Morgan Gibbs-White might be an option for me in midfield, but with Brennan Johnson, who's a might play with his groin, says, as we can see here from Steve Cooper, it's unlikely that Brennan will be involved at the weekend, but there is a small chance, so we want to give him every chance to see if he's available. Small chance isn't good enough for me to be going in on another player, because also out is Chris Wood, who, let's be honest, hasn't been prolific for Forest, but I think he's had a goal or two for them since he has signed there. A 1 year might play as well. So yeah, Morgan Gibbs-White isn't an option for me this week, just because there's not as many strikers for him whatsoever to be playing. Let's go and have a quick look in the comments. There's a few come in. Aritravo, howdy. Tagged you in a tweet, some Arsenal news. Okay, we shall have a look whilst we're doing that now. Let's have a look, Aritravo. Ryan Taylor Sport, thank you, sir. Arsenal going to assess Williams' Saliba back issue over the next 4 hours. Potential doubt for Crystal Palace, although he's not ruled out. Initial fears that Tomiyasu could be out for a longer period with the injury after leaving the Emirates on crutches. So he is out. As a Ben White owner, that's a good thing because in terms of minutes. It's just with the Saliba, you know, that defence isn't as strong as it, let's be honest. Gabriel's substitution was at half time, very much pre-planned, yeah. Leandro Trossard was spotted limping, okay. And Zinchenko spotted holding hamstring, but more likely cramp. Yeah, I saw that in the 115th minute, I think it was as well. Seems to have come through unscathed, okay. So he could well start, but it's a quick turnaround after a long game Thursday night. We all know Thursday night, Sunday night Europa League can be a bit of a hazard for Sunday fixtures as well, but it is up against Crystal Palace. Thanks for sending that in, Aritravo, and for retweeting my tweets as well for the deadline stream. I am only here till 6 p.m. by the way. It is choir practice tonight for my good lady, Mrs. Livesey loves it, and she does loves it too. Not FPL, life. That's what I'm talking about. Life. So yeah, where was I? I was on the this, wasn't I? Southampton. Don't think anybody's going there up against the Spurs this week. Might play Emerson Royale. People look, I've had Porro possibly. Thinking about Porro, maybe not this game week though. Sessegnon, Bissouma, Bentancur, Laurie's still out injured. They've not quite been the same team without Bentancur, have they? But Son, I think, did look back to his best in the last game. Pedro, I remember Son and Kane getting like 50 points combined at St Mary's. It was like game week 4-5 of the 2021 season, if I remember it correctly. Yes, and there was that whole sort of like opening 7 or 8 game weeks was just massive for them, wasn't it, mate? It was one of those, if you didn't have both at that point in time, you suffered massively, I think. For the rest of the season, I don't think I had both at the time. Who to captain? You had Son captain for that one. Son 4 goals, Kane 1 goal plus 4 assists, I guess. Yeah, that's the one. That's the one. You had the Son captaincy for mate. You had a great season, didn't you? So yeah, that is the press conference summary, unless anybody's got anything new. I love the fact Aritravo saying he's seen this about Arsenal and sending in updates. If anybody else wants to do that, then please feel free around these sorts of things. It is a community-based channel here, and your thoughts are very much encouraged. What I enjoy, I like it when everybody gets involved. I'm not a teller or anything like that. It's all about the community. Right, let's close those pages down there. Let's just go and have a quick look at the elite team for last week. As we said, this was 95% of these teams, because the top 20 all-time career teams had played their wild card last week for game week 27. So this was obviously their teams last week. So Kepa and Raya, Trippier, Estupinian, Henry, Botman, Gabriel, Saka, Rashford in all of the teams, March, Matoma, Odegaard, and then forwards Tony, Haaland and Kane. There we go. Top transfers in were Raya, Steele. So they did make many transfers last week. Top transfers out, Sanchez. People rolling their transfers in this league. So there's only 5 transfers last week, saving them for this week for the blank after their wild cards. Not surprising, to be honest with you. But well done to the Steele purchaser. Okay. That's the elite team. What else did I say I was going to have a look at? I hate missing things out. So I've done my team review. I've done an elite ownership just. Press conference summary. Let's have a look at the transfer trends then. And then I've got Al's top 3 picks. Aritravo, if you're still watching, mate, have you got 3 top picks this week at all? If so, throw them in the comments, sir, or send me a message. Either way, not a problem. That'll be lovely to hear. I've got a weekly differential punt, which I purchased actually off Heavy. And then we'll have a look at the captaincy. Big Nose Monkey asking who we're going to captain this week. So let's just go and have a look at the transfer trends. For me, it's Kane. Let's look at the status. Here we go. Team of the week last week. Top transfers in this game week. Let's go further than the top 5. So Chilwell this week, nearly 600,000 transfers, now up to 9.7 owned. Watkins, a lot of people going on Almiron. He was the subject of a team tinker last night in midfield. I just felt like Maddison was a better choice, to be honest with you. But interesting to see people piling back in on Almiron. He obviously didn't start in the last game week, but they do in terms of fixtures. Let's have a look at those. And my only thing with Newcastle, and I have gone for Isak, but he will be a punt, and he'll have some of these game weeks on the bench. Possibly 30 away to Brentford, away to Aston Villa. Is in the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fixtures they've got, albeit one of them is a double. 4 of them are away from home. That was my sort of hesitancy around Isak last night, to be honest with you. But let's attack these next 3 weeks. Not so bad. Nottingham Forest away. West Ham United away. They've not been very good, have they? I mean, David Moyes could have been sacked by then. Who knows? There's an international break coming up, isn't there? At some point soon. Well, between here and there, after game week 28. So it's 2 weeks after this game week. Anything can happen. It's good to go into 29 with the roll transfer. If anybody's able to do that and keep 2 transfers for game week 29, that's a great thing. You've got 10 players now. Okay, what did you do, mate? Tell us what you've done. Did you do the Salah to Maddison? Martinelli. People transferring in Martinelli this week. I'd just be a bit... does that affect his mental state? I suppose it can go one or 2 ways, can't it? Missing that penalty last night. Goes one or 2 ways, i.e. it spurs him on. Sorry to use Spurs reference with an Arsenal player. But yeah, it spurs him on to want to score and get it out of his head. The only thing is, the longer that goes on, how does that affect him? or does it affect him straight away? Maybe it just affects him on penalties. Maybe it doesn't affect him at all. But with fixtures, game week 28, no double next week though, so it does surprise me so many bringing him in. He's just great value at 6.6 million, isn't he? But those minutes, I think the Saka and Odegaard minutes are the safest in that team at the moment. But I suppose with Trossard possibly being injured, as we sort of like just looked at before, it's a possibility. Maybe his minutes are a little bit more guaranteed, but it didn't look like a big injury because he played until the end. Tony, Havertz, people having a go at Havertz. Son, Trippier, Trossard, Saka, Odegaard. So people still keeping the faith with Arsenal, even though it's a one fixture week. But those guys right at the top of people's thoughts to bring in this week. Let's have a look and see who has bitten the bullet, who's been binned off this game week. Biggest transfer out, the highest owned player in the game, still the highest owned player in the game, Erling Haaland. And I do get the logic. He's got one game against Liverpool. And then, sorry, but my head's going, maybe I should do it. I don't know. He's 12.1 now, so I've lost a bit of moolah anyway. In that sense, no, I'm not taking him out. I'm not doing anything hasty like that last minute. I'm happy to keep him. I think he gets a haul against Liverpool, and I want to bring Luke Shaw in next week. Let's get this one on a poll. Haaland or Watkins for this game week? What do people think? Haaland or Watkins for 2 weeks? Haaland? Watkins? Because in all honesty, whilst Watkins has got 3 game weeks, he's done the best he's ever done in his career in terms of goals together. So I'm a bit concerned whether he can keep that going. And I'm also concerned that I think Haaland can just get a cricket score. I don't think I captain him next week, in all honesty. Not with Rashford playing on a double and Fernandes playing on a double. That poll's up now, Haaland or Watkins. Do get your votes in. Let us know what you think. I've got just over 15 minutes before I need to go. But Haaland the biggest sell, Salah, Rashford, De Bruyne. How interesting that for massive players. Arguably the best player at each, or Haaland and De Bruyne. I suppose they're both arguably the best player for different reasons at each club. Liverpool, Man City, Man United. Biggest transfers out this week. People attacking the blank game week. And the double next week as well, I suppose. Transfers this week lead into next week as well. Darwin, people get rid of him. Matoma, these are all on blanks, so it's no surprise. Shaw, Alexander-Arnold, Gakpo, Estupinian, March, Saliba, he's now injured, so I can understand that one. And then Fulham, Fernandes, Brighton. So it's all the players that are blanking that people are getting rid of. No surprise there, really. What did I say I'd have a look at next? Let's have a look. I've had a message come through. Aritravo with his top 3 picks. That's right on cue. Let's go and let me share those with you then. So if you are new to the stream, I don't think this has come up my WhatsApp, has it? No, that's not the plan. So this is a weekly on a weekly basis. Aritravo and Al, who have the some of the best all-time ranks in our league, send me through their top 3 game week picks. Aritravo, if you want to explain any of these, then please do so. But we'll start in defence, and Aritravo this week, a cheeky punt here, has gone in defence for Matty Cash of Aston Villa. Okay, I wonder if you've got him, and I wonder if that's why you're thinking it. But no, up against Bournemouth, could get a cheeky attack in return. I like that choice, sir. Let me just share Al's defensive choice. He has gone for one that's a little bit more mainstream, if you like, and he's gone for Ben Chilwell, and he's saying Chelsea have hit a bit of form, and Everton are, I'll use the word rubbish anyway. Oh, he's a bitter Tranmere fan, yeah. Yeah, but he does not like. I think he actually likes Everton. If I'm going to be totally honest with you, correct me if I'm wrong, Gal. You just hate the fact that they're so rubbish. Yeah, I think you'd rather, you know, that they do a bit better. Shut up, some of them Liverpool fans. As somebody who lives in the city, that's a big thing to do. In midfield, both of our top 3 pickers have both gone for Gabriel Martinelli this week. So if anybody's thinking about getting rid of him, even after his missed penalty last night, both going for Martinelli. I think that's a very interesting choice. Doesn't surprise me. I think it's great. The Arsenal trio of Martinelli, even Trossard, if he plays, I suppose. Any one of those can return this week. Trossard, Saka, Martinelli, or Odegaard. Hopefully for me, it's the Odegaard. And then up front, both of our players gone for Tottenham as well. So I think there's some very interesting choices there. Al is saying it's Harry Kane against Southampton, which, to be fair, I see the logic there as well. Aritravo saying he's gone with 3 punts, really. I think that, interestingly, 3 punts, but 2 of those are matched up for you in midfield and up front as well. So I think there's 2 very good captaincy options for you there. For me, like I say, I'm on Harry Kane as my captain, and that's where it shall stay. Which brings me very nicely to points. In fact, let me just share very quickly, before I do that, Evie's weekly differential punts. And he has gone for, let me just find it. He has gone for Isak of Newcastle, which is quite nice because I've gone for him. So a lot of players being mentioned this week by our pundits that get involved in the channel. He looked so good earlier in the season, and now he's back. He was at 1.8% owned. I think he's now, is he 1.9% owned now? Not points I don't want. I want pick team. Possibly a little bit more. I don't think he's on loads of people's radar. He's on 2.2% owned. So a few people are going there this game week. That has increased. And he's got a lovely fixture against Nottingham Forest away, and then has the double, which is up against Man United and against West Ham, albeit Man United at home. Sunday, 4:30 kickoff, and then a Wednesday night game. So all evening games. Get to see him tonight. How exciting. Got a striker playing on the Friday night football. How long have I got? 10 minutes, guys. 10 minutes. Let's have a quick look. So I've done the differentials. I said I was going to look at something else. What was it? Points prediction. I'll just bring this up, and whilst this is coming up, I'll go to the comments. Pedro, I'm on Saka captain. Yep, good choice. We've just talked about our Arsenal. I just love the guy, but I'm kind of scared of Kane. Yep, expect his expected ownership. No, not expected. Effective ownership to be around 115 to 125%. That happened with me and Haaland last week. I lost 35,000 places when he scored, which was gutting. So I hope it doesn't hurt my rank too much. I'm 3 points off 100k. Come on, mate. You can do it this week. Go, Pedro. We're behind you, mate. Top 100k. FPL Josh. Hi, Paul. Just finished up my deadline live. How are you? Thanks, mate. I'm doing quite well. Yeah, I don't get to go to the deadline tonight, mate. Maybe you want to set your stream back up. People might want to come and join you. Anthony, Isak, or Watkins. For me, it's a tough one, mate. It's a tough one. I think if I'd have had the money last night, in all honesty, I think I probably would have gone for Watkins. So I'd say Watkins out of the 2. I just think Isak's a little bit more fun, I think. And I've not had much I've had some good fun because I've had some good scores recently, but this feels like a real, after the success of Steel last week, this feels like another cheeky differential that could do me really well. But I don't want to get too differential and then my players don't return. I'm surprised to see no one considering Isaac, but I'm really considering him as now Wilson is injured. He'll be starting every game and on pens. Is he now injured? Is that something new that's come to light? Because as far as I was aware, he had some illness. Yeah, you've got Maddie in from Big Nose Monkey. He has to deliver. It's his time, I think, mate. That's the same for me. Should have got a return last week on Marty. Not doing very good. So I think he's due as well, mate. So let's hope he can do the business for us. Aritravo Audi, West Ham are doing all right in Europe. Ghent in the quarterfinals is a decent draw for them. It is, mate. To be honest, I didn't watch their game. I've not watched how they've performed in Europe. It's how they do in the league, isn't it? I suppose, and they're not playing this week. But Ben Rama, as we saw last week, 10 shots in the last game week. So certainly want to keep an eye on for the following game weeks. FPL Josh Harlan's going down to 12 mil tonight, Paul. I don't know why everyone's bringing in Martinelli. Bad move. Interestingly, he's been recommended by 2 of our pundits on this stream as well. Maybe he just needs to get it out of his system, mate. Number of different ways to look at it. That's obviously your take on it. I'm a bit cautious, if I'm honest, as well. I won't go as far to say it's a bad move, though. Aritravo, you'll bring Haaland back for Kane next game week. See, I think you've just got to have the 2. He will score against us, Liverpool fan. We've been poor away from home this season. You have, mate, to be fair. You have. Gabriel or Zinchenko. For me, out of those 2, Samil, Gabriel, Zinchenko holding the back of his thigh yesterday. Could well start, but I think Gabriel is the more guaranteed starter, particularly with Saliba out injured as well, although he did play the 120 minutes and seemed to take a little bit of a knock earlier on, which seemed to he seemed to be able to play throughout the game as well. Pedro, I think I'm going to no Haaland up until game week 33. Wow, you're brave, mate. You're brave when he plays Arsenal. But good luck to you, mate. Decisions are built on decisions like this, aren't they? Seasons are built on decisions like this, in case I said decisions twice there. Let me just end this poll now. Haaland or Watkins for 2 weeks. Get your votes in if you haven't done already. And I shall end the poll in 10 seconds. I think I've got it when he plays Arsenal. As an Arsenal fan, I can't watch that game without him as captain. Fair enough. Fair enough, mate. Aritravo said he went with 3 punts, really. Samil, Kepa, Trippier, Chilwell, Gabriel, Botman, Odegaard, Saka, Maddison, Kane, Havertz and Watkins. Is that your team this week, mate? Lovely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. A full start on 11, so good luck with that. What's my rank? Currently at 1.4 million, mate. 1.4 million. 210k in the Second Chance League. Been much better. Been much better this season. Right, let's end this poll. Haaland or Watkins for 2 weeks. It's a resounding victory. 83% Watkins over Haaland. I'm not going to do it, though. I'm not going to do it because I just think he gets a return against Liverpool. I think he gets a huge return against Liverpool. At least a brace. There you go. I'm going to stick there. I'm keeping him because I think he gets at least a brace next week. Yeah, and I don't want to lose the money there. Don't want to lose the money there. Right, that's the questions. Let's have a quick look at the predicted points. Oh, I'm opening a new tab there. I don't want to do that. On the wrong one. Predicted points. Tools. So this game week, let's look at everybody overall. So Kane, Tony, Watkins. So already you can see those are 3 strikers. Nice to see 3 strikers up there. That doesn't happen very often. But all with some good fixtures against leaky defences. And then obviously Tony and Watkins next week of the double as well. This is just one game week. Predicted points for this week. Trippier up against Forest away from home. We've already talked in the stream about how blunt they are. So Newcastle defence look a really good option this week as well. Then Havertz up against Everton. Haven't done that well away from home this season either. Certainly, you know, if you look at how we did against Arsenal at home and then how we did at Arsenal away, maybe that gives you some indication. And I have personally, hate to say it, brought in Chilwell this game week as well. So those Saka, anyone's thinking about him for captaincy? Him and Odegaard in a similar sort of boat in terms of points prediction. And then Iheanacho and Reece James actually predicted higher points this game week than his counterpart on the other wing, Chilwell. Don't expect, oh no, actually identical points return predicted for both of those, with Maddison coming in just below. Isak, nice to see he's made it, actually. Lovely. So those are the point predictions for this game week. And if we look at the next few game weeks, up until game week 31 as well. In fact, let's just look at the next two, because I think that's where people's heads are at this week. So for the next 2 game weeks, Kane, Tony, Iheanacho, Felix is up there. Anyone going Felix? I don't see that myself, to be honest with you. Maddison, Trippier, Watkins dropping down a little bit down the rankings with the double. Slightly tougher fixtures, both away from home to Leicester and Chelsea. So a little bit tougher in the next game week, but certainly Bournemouth at home this game week is a really good fixture for him. Pedro, it'll be nice for you if Haaland gets a brace versus Liverpool. You get a significant rank gain, as so many people are selling in this game week. Yeah, it depends how many people captain him, with it being a double game week as well, because he's still owned by 75%, 74%, as we've seen. Still a massive ownership. Massive ownership. Aritravo. It was actually Haaland versus Kane for me in game weeks 27 and 28. Watkins and Tony had to be in my team. Fair enough, mate. Fair enough. Yep, no, I think probably have better fixtures, more fixtures. Probably be more points overall. What about for 29? What's your plan for 29, mate? You going without Haaland against Liverpool? No, you've said, haven't you? You're going to bring him in for Kane. Sorry, I do apologise. You bring Haaland back for Kane next game week. Right, okay. Cool. Right, how long have we got? 2 or 3 minutes. Have I missed anything off what I said here? Final team selection. I've done captaincy, transfer trends, lovely Q&A we've done as we've gone along. Right, let's get back to my team, because I do have to. This is my final team for the game week. There's no news about any of these players whatsoever, so they're looking good for my double gaming. In case you want to see part of the reason I've chosen this, this is my team as it looks next week, with one transfer, Gabriel to Shaw next week. I finally make that transfer back for the double game week. And as you can see, as predicted points via this website, they'll all be different. 126 next game week. So that's with the bench boost, and I've been playing towards that bench boost. I've genuinely picked the team here that I think I would pick if I wasn't on a bench boost next game week. I like to think Odegaard, Haaland and Kane start ahead of Isak, even if he is on a double, with one of those being Man United at home and then West Ham away, just because of his guaranteed minutes. I mean, if he gets 90 minutes this weekend, that could change around in terms of who would get the start for me. Maybe Kane would be the one to drop to the bench with a tough fixture at Goodison Park under the lights on a Monday night. But I think that's like my sort of like my bus team, if you like, going into next week with the planned transfer to Shaw. But I will be waiting, because that's game week 29. We've just seen here, just in case you weren't aware, there is an international break. This is the Friday the 17th of March. No games until Saturday the 1st of April. So injuries are something to keep an eye on. No go in with the transfer straight away unless you absolutely need to. You've got no spare money. Basically keep an eye on prices if you need to. Fantasy Football Fix is my favourite one, this website. here. Link in the description below as part of the FPL toolkit. FPL Josh, I'm back. Pedro, no, he wouldn't, because most getting back 29. You think that, mate, but let's see what happens with injuries. You know, I thought I'd have had Luke Shaw back in by now, but not been able. Sometimes other things become more important, hence why I'm just not taking the risk. But that's an interesting opinion of yours as well, sir. But bear in mind, it is an opinion. Nothing definite here. Ian Atcho for Tony, your punt for 29. I think that would be a good one. I think he might be suspended by then, sir. Right, that is it then, boys and girls. Let me just make sure my team is confirmed. I don't need to do anything. Kepa in goal. Let's just confirm it. White. This is the ones I'm worried about now, actually, even though they come up really well on a clean sheet sort of this week, just because of the game from last night. Holding play, and I am worried about their chances a clean sheets. I am worried about this week, to be honest with you. I don't see as big a haul this week, or doing as well as I have done. Hopefully the Chilwell, Maddison and Isak transfers coming in this week can help to boost my team. Maddison in goal. Odegaard, first time I played 5-2-3 this season, or 5-2-2. Haaland's there just in case he gets a return. He's that good. Right, that's it. Have a great game week, everybody. Captaincy stays there for me. No changes for me from this team going into it. See you all on the channel next week. Don't forget to hit the notification buttons, as you've probably gathered. If you're fairly new to the channel, the streams come at random times. Last night, it was straight after the game because I needed to do it there and then. And things happened with my life with 2 young children, 4 and 7-year-old. Lovely. That's it. Have a good week. See you later. Take care. Bye-bye.